Hey, just a heads up that this game is in early access. For some reason, I didn't mention it once in the script for this video, even though I wrote the script under the premise of it being in early access. I didn't mention it, that is my bad. Please remember it is in that state, and enjoy the rest of the video. If you know me, then you know two solid facts about me. I love zombies, and I love extraction games. Zombies have had me enamored since childhood, replaying the demo of Dead Rising over and over again on the Xbox 360. Finding items in the world and using them as weapons was such a great concept. Or playing Call of Duty Zombies all day and all night with my boys, trying to reach higher and higher rounds, getting the guns you like and pack-a-punching them for full lethality. Then moving on to DayZ and its immense sense of scale and world, not just contained to a box map you run trains in, combined with player interaction, more than just the people you party up with beforehand, but running into players, fight or flight moments, and dynamic teaming up. I adore zombies in every medium. Something about the fantasy just never gets old to me. The same goes for extraction shooters. Probably 1/4 of my channel is Tarkov videos and discussing extraction games overall. A genre so filled with tension, looting, and moments that make you actually feel something. And the nature of starting with nothing, gearing up slowly to become the character that has power, and then the risk of it all being taken away in a heartbeat by a death from a human or an NPC. That game feeling is unmatched to me. Which is why when I originally heard about No More Room in Hell 2, I was very excited. An open area hardcore zombie survival FPS with an extraction element? That ticks so many of my boxes. Where you start with a randomly generated character, going into a hellscape to complete mission objectives, collect loot and supplies, and then manage to extract with your character still intact at the end of a mission, with the possibility that the progress is all lost on death. The elevator pitch had me sold. But when it released, it was immediately obvious that the game wasn't ready yet. Performance wasn't good, bugs all over the place, and a gameplay loop that didn't seem satisfying. Bullet dodged, I thought to myself. I'm glad I didn't buy into the immediate hype. But recently the game had a free weekend. It's been 6 months since release. That's enough time for some good progress, right? Alas, I should have taken the mixed reviews on Steam more seriously, as right now, this game is not in the state it could and should be. As an example, performance is really rough, and using some form of upscaling is almost mandatory. But then that gimps the nice visual style the game has. Let me just make this clear though. This game has the sauce. It has the systems. It has all the pieces that I think could make something absolutely phenomenal. They're just not linked together yet. And that saddens me, because I see so much potential, so much dynamic gameplay. But right now, this ain't it. And let me explain why. Set in a world already lost to the zombies, you play as a rescue and recovery team, tasked with going into areas, rescuing survivors, recovering supplies, and general post-apocalyptic busy work. Your character is randomly generated, having a background and name assigned to them, but there is starting gear you can choose from once you get some more account levels. Otherwise, you'll always have some basic kit. If you die in game, this character is gone for good. You can have up to 3 characters at any one time, and they each have their own respective levels aside from your overall account level. They have a randomly selected perk from a pool based on their background, and ones you've unlocked by account leveling. Successfully completing the mission gives your character XP, and at level brackets you can gain more perks. So you do have a level of attachment to each character. You could have done multiple runs with one, made them a veteran through blood, sweat and tears, just to die because of some silly mistake. I love this system. Great idea. Really leaning into the hardcore nature they're going for. Basically, no notes on this system's core aside from getting a bad first perk kinda sucks. But that's the roll of the dice for you. Losing a veteran character after crashing 45 minutes into an hour-long mission though, that feels like a kick in the teeth and something that we will get into more later. Getting ready to spawn in, you can select public or private. Private lobbies are only available for squads of 2 or more, with the player count being up to 8 people per game. This means no solo mode, and that is for a good reason that we'll get onto shortly. Unless you bought the game with the boys, this means you'll be queuing up public every time. I'll say up front, this game will live or die overall, and in your opinion, based on who you play with. I've had silent players who did zero talking except from breathing into their mic, kinda solid players that might ping or say a couple things, but the best and most successful times I've had is when people talk to each other and especially help each other. Video games are always funner with friends, so that would be my recommendation. But this game is punishing and hard, and as such I want to go into it with people that work together and don't lone wolf, then get mad when they die. Either pray you get good public lobbies, or find some people actually willing to try by joining the Discord. There is 3 maps at the time of writing, with no way to select what map, just random queue. Once in, all players are separated, having to find each other along the way to the objectives. Again, I love this. You're not a fighting zombie force at the start. You're scattered, isolated, having to look out for your own back and get some supplies on the way to the objective. It means running into another player on the way feels good. someone to watch your back, or to yoink the ammo type that you need for your gun. You can pull your watch up to find objectives, and along the way you can loot houses for medical supplies, guns, ammo and utility items. A personal favourite is the speaker that plays music to distract crowds of zombies, and actually does have some pretty catchy tunes on it. Finding a melee weapon that works for you is important. Blunt pipes to crush skulls, machetes to chop limbs off, or two-handed weapons that pack a lot of punch, but don't allow you to use your handheld torch, really impacting visibility. Melee combat was completely reworked with the update I started on. Left click swings left, right click swings right. You have charged attack variations, you've got a shove and also a kick. Any game that lets me kick an enemy, especially a zombie, gets bonus points. Maintaining distance against zombies is important because this game has infection mechanics. There's a relatively low chance to be infected when being bit by a zombie, which I would usually be fine with. But when a mission lasts an hour or maybe more and you get infected in the first 10 minutes, it just makes me want to alt F4. There are pills to suppress the infection temporarily, and a very rare gene masking kit to clear it for one person. But just manage your distance from the zombies well, so you get infected later rather than sooner. The melee combat against one zombie is easy. Against 3, it's challenging but doable if you make sure to keep kicking the non-primary one down. But when 5+ zombies are after you with your melee, you're not going to win that unless you get on top of a car and fight them back using the height advantage. I really like this. In my eyes, zombies should be slow but scary. Like everyone else, I think 28 Days Later is great, but sprinters are unfun to play against if melee is a large part of the combat system. Now hold on, Left 4 Dead is different because you legitimately slice through zombies like butter. But in this game, sometimes 3 charged whacks to the head and the zombie will still technically have a head, and as such continue to go for you. I do think overall it'd be nice to do a little bit more damage to the zombies with melee headshots, because fighting one zombie has you almost always running out of stamina during the fight, and the out of stamina effect is so bloody obnoxious. A white vignette around the screen every time stamina gets low. They really need a toggle or a setting for this, because it completely clashes with the intentional visual design of the game, which leads me on to the fact that this game is dark, both in tone and in lighting. This is one of the few games that's set at night that's actually dark, meaning responsible usage of your flashlight is important. With a limited battery life and the requirement of finding spare batteries in the world to keep it usable, managing the light source is key. Indoor environments without power are eerie. Seeing the silhouettes of the environment and looking for the power switch or scanning with a flashlight. And I'd like to say that the indoor environments in this game are visually cluttered and dense in the best way. While some houses share similar layouts or contents, tables are strewn with decorative items. Kitchens have half-completed cooking like someone was mid-action before the panic set. Bedrooms, not just a stack of prefab assets, but a unique layout that feels actually lived in. I really like the shops at the finale section of one of the maps. A square park, with each wall of the park lined with different shops and apartments you can enter. Each interior feeling uniquely crafted and perfect for the setting. This game gets a big old A+ from me in this department. The sense of scale on the maps is surprising. I know that they said it would feel big, but the progression from outskirts to inner city feels like actually traversing through different areas and intensities. Landmarks visible in the distance adds a lot to the atmosphere, but on the topic of intensity, you have a scaling intensity meter, going up slowly with time, and more rapidly with objective completions that lead you into new areas. The starting outer areas will be from 1 to 3, scaling up in roughly a 3-arc system, meaning the center climax at the end of the mission is always a 7, 8 or a 9. This intensity correlates with both zombie amounts, average speed, and chance of special zombies. Outer areas in tier 1 to 3 can still absolutely be packed with zombies. You will certainly have horde moments in these initial areas, but as the numbers go up, the chance of faster ones go up too. You'll see more with construction helmets on, or firefighters with helmets, but also a very convenient canister on their back. Perfect for a well-placed melee or bullet to cause an explosion taking out anything in close range. Just be careful when the riot police zombies come out, because they do not mess around. The guns in this game have far more detail than I expected, with a modular attachment system, meaning across a run you can kit out your gun with grips, sights, and very useful silencers, as well as actual respect for the calibers the guns use. It's not just generic pistol ammo. Does it take 9mm, 45 ACP, 44 Magnum? This diversity both respects realism, but means that the larger ammo pool stops you from being flooded with ammo, leading to a balancing act of conserving limited ammo types, and then contrasting that to the dangerous but resource-free melee combat. A little side note in relation to the guns, it's also just animations in this game. The devs obviously have some gun autism quirks, but things like reloading a pistol, your character puts their flashlight into their mouth whilst reloading. That is so cool! not just removing the light during or keeping it on somehow with no physical reason. The game's animations respect continuity, and I really appreciate that. I will say I think that stealth could be buffed a bit. Zombies are incredibly perceptive for undead shamblers, and with one aggroing you, possibly causing another to do the same, you're swarmed whilst in stealth, when you could have just parkoured past them and made them eat your dust till the next objective. With a variety of utility items, such as lamps to brighten holdout areas, the boombox I mentioned before that's an audio distraction, planks to reinforce doors or windows of an area you have to defend, or to catch your breath before you make your final stand, as well as the classic pipe bomb, beeping to attract enemies before turning them into a mushy red pulp. Just make sure to get away from the area after, because the volume of the explosion will invite the entire neighbourhood to investigate what just happened. The overall loop of this game is simple. Start a character and try to complete the mission with strangers. If you survive, then you get XP for the character, which unlocks randomly set perks. If you die, then that character is gone and you have to roll a new one. Quick side note, this game is not an extraction game. The act of survival is inherently extracting, but it has no extraction mechanics aside from losing everything on death. Conceptually, I love this. But the issue is, the missions are long. One of the new ones I completed took us an hour, and apparently the main map they have, Power Plant, can take up to 2 hours to complete. For transparency, I never got that far in Power Plant, with either me or my entire team dying before getting to the second major section. The issue is time commitment, an hour for a successful run. But how many partial runs do new players have to do before they get their first win? For me, I think it was around 12. It felt great to finally complete a run after dying so many times before, but I was incredibly frustrated every time I died before getting to a new area I hadn't been to before. You could say this is a part of climbing the mountain of achievement and skill, and whilst I do agree, this game won't retain anything but the most hardcore and sweaty player base if they have this mindset. A few early and confused deaths will be the quit moment for many players, not giving the game the chance to show its true potential. I'd personally like it if the game leaned into the map's general 3-act structure, and instead of only offering a singular win condition for full completed run, allow the players to leave at the end of each metaphorical stage. You complete your first main part of the 3, and then you check to see if most people are still alive. Do you all feel good about your current setup? Then you move on to the next section, and if not, you could choose to get your character out with some conditional extract that means you only get a fraction of the XP you would have gained for a full run, but you don't feel like you're wasting your time going to the next section with only 1 or 2 players and not a hope in hell to successfully complete it. If splitting into thirds won't work, then half would be my other suggestion. But as much as I do theoretically like the challenge of going for a full one, many players will bounce off this, and hard. And like I said at the start of this video, this game lives or dies by both the quality and quantity of players it has. On the final day of the free weekend, I was playing from 11 PM till 5 AM, but by 3 or 4 AM, queues took ages, and rightfully so, because it was 4 AM on a Sunday fucking night, but the game would start with 4 people, and it's balanced around 8, not reducing zombies or increasing resources. Players can join for a little while until an early objective is done, but I barely saw anyone join these low population sessions. Or, I'd luckily get into a game with an 8 stack, but it was in a different region, and I was playing with a bunch of Chinese players, and the ping difference between us meant that we were playing the same game in 2 different dimensions. Zipping around the map, VoIP breaking, overall an experience I just all F4'd out of 15 minutes in. I really think this game could be great, and I did have fun, but the massive performance issues until I gimped my settings was a huge hindrance. Every pipe bomb thrown was a risk due to the frame drops from all the chunks after. The zombies are an imposing presence that's amazing, as they should be. But balancing for more player agency against smaller groups would really help with skill expression. Because right now, it doesn't feel worth it to fight and clear small groups, especially with respawn mechanics sometimes bugging out, and a zombie spawning out the ground of the area you just cleared. The duration of matches will drive many players away, and whilst prestigious for some, will be considered a waste of time for others. A variable player count and quality means your experience could be fun and communicative, or some guy saying nothing aside from the smoke alarm chirping through his mic, because he forgot to turn off open mic. This game has me so conflicted with how I feel about it. Sadly, I think I'm left with a vested interest in this game. No desire to continue to play it right now, but I do believe in this game. I want it to succeed. As I said, it does so many things right, but right now, it's not sticking them together. I think some more time in the oven is needed, and if it can come out swinging again in the future, I'm so here for it. I don't want it to be like Tarkov where you have an out-of-game stash and other tedium. I like the character nature of this game, but I need this game to respect my time, because if it doesn't respect the player's time, it won't have many people willing to give it time anymore. Thank you for watching.